All right, welcome back to Video Games Next Week. I'm Erik Kain. This week, we're going to look at video games next month instead. A little twist on the formula. That's because we're at the end of May, and June just doesn't have a ton of new video game releases. But it is a big month for video games, probably mostly because of not the new stuff coming out in June, but what's going to be talked about and announced and revealed in June, primarily via E3, which is actually happening this year. One of the biggest pieces of news so far we have for E3 is the Bethesda Microsoft combined showcase. So since Microsoft purchased and acquired Bethesda, that they are now part of the Xbox family. So the big Xbox event at E3 will include the Bethesda showcase, and they're really emphasizing that, which says to me that we're going to actually finally maybe hear about some stuff like Starfield, maybe even the Elder Scrolls 6, although I would not count on that. And then hopefully we get some, Halo and some of these other smaller games from Xbox, which, Microsoft went on a huge studio acquisition spree. So we should have lots of stuff to see there. We are also getting a couple MMO releases. We have the Elder Scrolls Online, the Gates of Oblivion expansion coming out next month, as well as the PS5 Xbox Series X version of that game. And we're getting World of Warcraft Burning Crusade Classic. So if you are a big WoW fan, but you like the old school classic versions, now you're going to be able to get into the Burning Crusade expansion in the classic form. Everything old is new again. Everything new is old. I'm not quite sure, but June is certainly a month for old releases and remakes. We have Ghosts and Goblins Resurrection, which is a remake of that classic, very, very difficult platforming game. We also have the old Sega Master System game, Alex Kidd in Miracle World. That game is coming out as well next month as a remake where you can play in both the retro and modern graphics, which is kind of cool. As well as Legend of Mana, which is the fourth Mana RPG, and that's coming out as well. Ninja Gaiden Master Collection, which is 3 classic 3D Ninja Gaiden games. If you've ever played those, they're super challenging. Ninja Combat, awesome games, really fun. Really tough, but really fun. If you're like me and you like hard games, these are for you. Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 1 and 2. That's coming to Switch. That's already released on PlayStation and Xbox consoles. It's a phenomenal remake. Activision has really done a great job with its remakes, like its Call of Duty remasters. On PS5, one of the exclusive games to PS5 in June is Final Fantasy VII Remake Intergrade, which is a mouthful. It boosts the graphics for PS5. It also brings in a lot of new story content that is exclusive to PS5, and it sort of sets all other Final Fantasy VII Remake releases back at least 6 months. So this is going to be a PlayStation exclusive, specifically a PS5 exclusive. New games coming out next month that look interesting. Operation Tango. That's a 2-player co-op spy game where you have to communicate to solve puzzles, and it's sort of an asymmetric game, so you're not seeing the same thing. So it's very much like Keep Talking and Nobody Explodes, that VR game that was released a few years ago. That's one of my favorite VR games still, because you just really have to communicate, and I think as many classrooms as possible should have that game in there just to teach team building and communication skills. But this one looks very similar, except for more of a spy game with more variety. Then we have Chivalry 2. I don't know if you played Chivalry 1, but that was, it's a game of combat between knights, heavily armored knights. Chivalry 2 is like the bigger version. It's like the Battlefield version of that. So dozens and dozens of players in a map at the same time. I've played this game. It's goofy fun. It's like Monty Python the game to some degree. It's just chaos.
Help me! Help me!
Dark Alliance is not a remake of the Baldur's Gate Dark Alliance games, but it is set in the same Forgotten Realms world. You can play as Drizzt Do'Urden, Bruenor the Dwarf, Wulfgar the Barbarian, or Catti-brie, who's kind of more of an archer support class. Up to 4-player co-op. You just play through dungeons, get loot, kill monsters. It's fun. I've played this one also. It's a lot of fun. It's not, the most deep experience you've ever had in an RPG. But if you just like to log in with some friends, kill some monsters, it's third person, but I would say it's kind of like Vermintide, which is a up to 4-player co-op first person fantasy game. So similar idea. No microtransactions, anything like that. So that's pretty cool. The biggest game coming out on June 11th, the sort of hallmark game, the game everyone is super excited for, at least everyone who has a PS5, is Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart. First new Ratchet and Clank game in years. It's also been widely praised as the most next-gen game of any game that anyone has previewed or seen so far. So this is Sony's sort of biggest PS5 release to date. It looks fantastic. I'm really excited for it. And we'll definitely review the game when we buy a copy of it, since it seems unlikely that Sony will send us one. But anyways, those are the biggest games next month. Definitely, if any of these are interesting to you, look them up. Plenty to play, plenty to catch up on from this whole year so far. There's been so many games that have come out. But thanks for watching, and I'll see you next week. Peace.